Hey everybody, and welcome to the tutorial series for the Animal Behavior Kit. In this very short video, we'll do a quick project overview, meaning we are going to open Unreal and go over all of the different things that come with the Animal Behavior Kit as if you were just opening the project for the first time. And then right after that, we're going to go ahead and actually start the creation process and the setup process to go over all of the different blueprints. So let's go ahead and jump to Unreal. So I am right here in the Unreal Engine. If you opened it for the first time, you should be right here. Your screen should be very similar to this. You are in the level showcase level, and you should have here under content one folder called ABK. Really quickly, if you haven't had the chance, I recommend that you actually play this level. Make sure that when you hit play, you are spawning at the default player start, and follow the little path here, and it'll actually give you a very quick overview of all of the different main features that the Animal Behavior Kit contains. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and do that as soon as you're done with this video. I highly recommend it. So what is the folder structure that you're seeing here? Right, so very high level, you'll get a major folder called blueprints. These are all of the blueprints that are part of the Animal Behavior Kit. This is really the core of ABK. All of the AI blueprints are here. Then you have epic content, which we're going to review in just a second. This is all of the different content that is borrowed, so to speak, from Epic Games. All of the different animal models, the animations, there's the water blueprint, for example. There's some grass models and foliage, things that are not actually mine. They're from Epic Games. So I have separated those into a separate folder. Then you have the different maps, which obviously the level showcase is one of them. You have all of the materials, all of the different meshes. There's particle systems, and then the textures. Really quickly, epic content, if you see here, you have animations, blueprints, and in this case, there's only one blueprint from Epic, which is the translucent water, which we'll use very shortly in another video. All of the animations here are for the different animals. In this case, we have 3 animals that we include: the deer, bears, and spiders. And then the player animation, again, this is from the animation starter pack. All of the different materials that are used by all of the different models, the meshes for the animals, the environment, for example, the bushes, the trees, etc. Then you have all of the different animals. And let me go right here again. Then you have particle system, and then you have all of the textures. Now, if we go back to the root folder and we open blueprints, you'll notice that we have several different blueprints here. There's a tutorial introduction blueprint. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and click on the little play button. It just gives you a very short overview of what I'm kind of talking about here. Then you have the actors folder here, and if you open here, these are actor blueprints that are not necessarily tied to the AI of the project. For example, you have a BP follow camera. This is kind of a utility blueprint that allows you to select any animal in the level and actually follow it as a way for you to either debug the behavior or simply take a look at what's happening in your level. It's really nice if you want to take some screenshots for your game, but I mostly created it for debugging purposes. Then you have the marker. This is the location marker blueprint that is used when you have a companion, and you'll see that later on. Then when you're taming, there are several blueprints here that are used for you to tame your animal, including there's bait, for example, for predator and prey that you can pick up in the world, and then there's bait that you can shoot at the animal to tame the animal. Then you have the AI folder. Here's the biggest one here, and within the AI folder you have different subcategories, actors, and then from here on you have all of the different actor blueprints that relate to the AI. For example, for ground AI, which is really the biggest category here, you have things like the navigation, bounding box, defend location, points of interest. You have a path that they can follow. You have a specific waypoint. For the need system, you have water, you have food, you have a water blocker. There's also a group manager here, custom need actor. There's a lot of different systems here. For example, for the AI director, you have the AI director in a target location. In the components folder, you have these are all of the different systems that are created as actor components. For example, in the ground animals, you'll have the component for companion, custom need, decay corpse, grow old, look for mate, natural death, need system, etc. Just a quick warning here, the decay corpse you may not have right now. I've decided that even though this is almost done, it did not make it to the initial release. So anything related to the decay system will be coming in a future update very, very shortly. But I wanted to make sure that I had time to test it. So if you look at my screen here and say, hey, what about this comp decay corpse? You will get that very, very soon as it's completed. Okay. Let's go back here to AI. Then you have things like population control, and you have the actual population control blueprint, which we're going to have our own separate video for that, and a spawner for those animals. And then individual spawners here, you have a food spawner and an animal spawner, which if you go through this level, you'll see an instance of the animal spawner here. Okay, let's go back to AI. Let's go back to blueprints. Then you have characters. And under characters, you have the actual individual animals and the player. If you open player, you have a generic BP player character. And the player itself has two actor components, one's for the HUD and one's for the ability to tame. And the reason they're components is because if you want to use your own custom character pawn for you to copy the code and be able to tame animals, it's a lot easier if a lot of that code is already in an actor component. And then if you go back and you open the animals folder, you have a base animal class, which has a lot of functionality. Things like the HUD, what happens when the animal takes damage, death, things like that. There are simulation details, and you'll see that in another video, that pertain to all animals. And then from there, you have the ground animal base class, and this is really the biggest class that has all of the different behaviors that you see here for the deer, the bears, the spiders, etc. If you open the AI folder here, all you'll see are the actual behavior trees in the blackboard. So if you open BT ground, for example, I'm going to bring it here to the screen. This is the main behavior tree for the ground animals, and you can see it can get pretty complicated here. All of the different behaviors are represented in this tree. For example, BP ground companion is a separate behavior tree for companions. So what happens is when you tame an animal, the animal actually switches from their other behavior tree to this behavior tree, and you can see that you have different behaviors like follow owner, stay in place, go to location, attack, and leave owner. And the reason for that is because if you ever wanted to expand the system of companions, you can do it yourself by adding even more details to this tree, or in case I wanted to do it in a future update, it just makes it easier for me as well. Okay, if you go to the folder for predators, you'll see some examples here. You'll see that there's a predator AI class, and then you see that there's other subclasses. These are children, like the spider, the bear, and the young bear. And if you go to the prey, you'll see that there is a male deer or a doe and a female. Sorry, a female and a male, and then you have a young version of each. And then you have the parent class, which is BP Prey AI. And don't worry too much. We are going to go through the details of all of these different classes. Right now, I just want to give you a very high level overview of what's in here. Core If you open it, you have all of the different enumerations, interfaces, and structures, for example, that are used all throughout the kit. By and large, you do not want to touch these blueprints unless you really know what you're doing or you want to expand the system. All of these enums are basically the drop-down menus that you see all throughout the kit. So there really isn't a need to touch these blueprints here unless, again, you are expanding the system, which is why I put it all under core. Your main focus will most likely be in AI, which is what all of the different systems are, and then actors, right? The characters, these are going to be where all of your animals are held. Core is, again, all of the different blueprints that are just used as the backend blueprints to make sure everything works. Showcase, these are just very simple blueprints that I use for the showcase level, like the simple path. There's a simple fence blueprint to create these fences here. There's the show widget, which you can see it here, which is the blueprint that allows you to display a little message. So none of this is really related to the animal behavior kit per se, but this is just to allow me to make this showcase level. So feel free to delete them, or if you find them useful, feel free to use them as well. And finally, we have the widgets. Similar to core, these are just the widgets used within the system. You can obviously modify them. You can change the the appearance of the widgets, or you can add to the widgets, etc. And then you have the game mode for ABK. You have a very generic camera shake blueprint that I have here. I don't believe it's referenced right now, but I did want to include it because I want to use this in a future tutorial when you can add custom code to the animations. And then again, like I mentioned, you have the intro tutorial BP here. All right, so I think I've gone over all of the different folders here. In the next video, we're actually going to start by creating a brand new level where we are going to try to replicate all of the systems that you see here and more. So we're going to start from scratch and go step by step, going through all of the setup for the environment and eventually going to go through every single major system in the kit. So by the end of it, you will know how to use all of the major systems. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.